Well, I hope this little video will help you with your outrun. You know, one thing that's really important to have on a dog is a good, dependable outrun. We want our dog to run just wide enough around the livestock so that he doesn't disturb that livestock until he gets in a position to lift them and bring them to us. Here's Sandy just sending a young dog from her side, going out to pick up the livestock. The interesting thing about this little outrun right here is that these cattle do take off running as soon as they see that dog. They're just old dog broke cattle that are used to running to the handler for protection, so to speak. But the dog went ahead and got behind him anyway, and then he kind of gave him a little break there and let him slow down a little bit before he came in and really started lifting him. Now here's what can happen when you don't teach your dog a proper outrun. Now we're going to make some improvements in this young lady's outrun on her dog, but she just didn't really have her dog set up right. She sent him the wrong direction, sent him into the fence, and she should have had him on her other side. She should have walked down to protect her livestock a little bit. So I'm going to give her some help with this. Give her a little instruction here. I'm going to have her set her dog up on her left side, lay him down, pointed the direction she wants him to go. Don't cross the line of sight. Your dog needs to have direct line of sight to the livestock. Walk down near the livestock. Turn around, face your dog. Send the dog, step into his outrun just a little bit. A whole bunch nicer, whole bunch nicer. Lay that dog down. Don't worry about fetching the livestock or anything right now. We're just working on outrun. Just go ahead and walk past your livestock. Call the dog off. Start on another one. Now before we can do this, we've got to be able, our dog's got to roll his shoulder out and give to our pressure a little bit. All Sandy's doing right now is she's just asking this dog to roll his shoulder out. When he does, she'll let him go. The rope's just to keep him there in the lesson. If she let him go, he would just go make a mess. Now he rolled his shoulder out, so she lets the rope go, goes around behind the livestock. This is kind of a prerequisite to teaching your dog an outrun, that he must be able to do that, roll his shoulder out, go out around the livestock, and with the intent of bringing the livestock to the handler. So usually what I do is I start off by just tying my dog to the fence with a long rope, so that he can't get up and leave. Because the first thing he's got to do is lay down and let me walk to the livestock, because I'm going to have to be down there near the livestock to make sure that he does a nice outrun. So right now I'm just getting this dog used to laying there while I walk away from him, walk down toward the livestock. He's a little bit intimidated by this. He'll get over it. He still thinks I'm punishing him a little just by making him lay there while I do this. So now I want to get him on my other side. I always make sure I do everything from both sides. I'm just giving a little reassurance here. Just get him to come over to my right side. Not too much pressure. You can see you don't need a whole lot of pressure. So just, lay that way. I'm just saying, I'll be there when you get there, boy. I'm going to be down there to take care of my livestock. And I walk all the way down, actually, to make sure that I move the livestock. I don't have to worry about him getting up and leaving because he's tied to the fence. You notice where my rattle paddle is. You could use a stick or anything you want. Don't use anything if you don't want to, but I've just it's kind of just dragging along like a tail behind me right now. I keep looking back to make sure he's still laying down. I'm just going to shoo my cattle a little bit, make him move a little. I don't want him to get up, even if the cattle do move. Notice I'm wearing dark glasses here, which is a no-no when you're training dogs. So anyway, then I go back to my dog. Now then I'm going to untie that lead from the fence. And just so he kind of thinks he's still got it on, but I'm just kind of testing him a little to make sure he's not going to get up and leave. I don't think this dog is, but some dogs might. And so if they feel like they still got that rope on when they start to get up and leave, it might cause them to stay there. I'll do the same thing, just set him up again to be the same little routine here of walking out toward the livestock a little bit. Then I'm going to take that lead off of him. And I'm going to do the same little routine again. I want to set him up on both sides without that lead. Now he knows it's not on him because he's took a few steps without it. Set him up on both sides just like I did before without the lead. Walk down toward my livestock. Okay, now I'm going to actually send him to get the livestock. Now he's never done an outrun, So he might not do it exactly right, but this is where we're going to start. Now I know he's dependable to lay there, pointed the right direction while I walk toward my livestock. I'm carrying my paddle now, my stick on my right side because my dog's going to the left. Now I switch hands with it, use it to kind of push him out a little bit, put a little pressure on him. Now that's a little tight on the top on that outrun, but we're going to improve on that as we go along. At least he went all the way behind his cattle and brought his cattle. Just go back, call him off, set it up again, do the same thing. And one thing we want to be careful about is crossing that line of sight. If I step over to the dog's side, to the other side of the dog, see how he kind of got up and changed directions there? I crossed over his line of sight. So now he's going to be confused about which way to go. Oh, I'm able to correct him, get him to go the right way because I don't want him to go in between those cattle and the fence. So he goes around and learns to do a good correct outrun. I will want him to go both to the left and the right, but right now we're just working on the left. Just do one thing at a time. Here we go again. Same story. This time those cattle had drifted clear down to the corner, but even though they were in the corner, he went all the way and gathered all his cows. Did a good job bringing them. Now, I will want him to go wider than that on that top end. So I'm going to try to set these cattle up where I can use that little obstacle there in the middle to kind of help me with that a little bit. Same thing, set him up the same way. I'm down here to protect my cattle. Widen him out just a little bit on the top end, stop him before he really starts his livestock moving and not let him lift his livestock. Flank him back around here and call him off and go do it again. This time he's going to go a little bit wider. I'm using that obstacle in the middle a little bit more. Same story, I walk down toward my cows. Now I'm working on that top end of that outrun. See, now he has to go a little bit wider, even though his cows are moving. And I'm going to let him work them just a little bit this time. I want him to have a little bit reward for doing that before I start working again. Now this is the same dog, but we're going to work on that top end a little bit more this time. We're going to use sheep this time. These are dog broke sheep, and they're trained just to run to the handler, of course. They know where to go for protection. So I've got Sandy down here with the sheep. She's just there kind of keeping them company and holding them there while I get in position to send my dog. The sheep really can't go anywhere because I'm in the position. Now this is the direction that he's going to take on his outrun. It's a little bit tight. I'd rather see him go a little bit wider right there on that very top end. He's going to cut in just a little bit. Not too bad. I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on him waving that stick out there, but it's really not enough. He's really not responding to that pressure quite as good as I'd like for him to. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. He's feeling a lot better about laying down beside me and facing the direction I want him to go and so forth. He's kind of getting the idea there. He's, okay, I got the idea. I'll just take off. And now you just lay down here and wait for me. I'll be there when you get there. Now I got a little bit more room to widen him out on the top. And I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on him. This dog's really not quite given to that pressure the way I'd like to see him do it. I'm just going to sling that paddle out across the ground there. Oh, a little better. All the way to the fence and lay down. I'm making him go all the way to the fence here, even though that might not be the exact balance spot. I just want him to get used to going off balance a little bit on his stock as well. Do everything twice. Everything we do, we have to do it both directions. Now I'm going to ask him to lay down. Sometimes I have to reach down and get that collar and turn his body out the way I want him to go, just so he learns that's the position that he goes on the outrun from. Okay, we'll give him that paddle sling that way too, kind of get him used to going. Now go all the way to the fence, boy. Give him another flank command, make him go all the way to the fence. Now we moved out into the field. We've got a different dog here, but here I'm just setting up my sheep out here in the field with my old dog. So he's just holding the sheep where I want them. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to walk down. I don't have to walk as far with this dog. She's a little bit farther along in her training. I'll just walk about halfway down here. But using the same body language, setting her up the same way, the same movement of my paddle there, my stick. She's going to make a nice wide outrun, come clear around on the top. Even though those sheep started moving, she didn't panic. She just kind of fell in behind them with a nice little pace. And I'm going to trust her to take a flank and go back around and catch them the other way. Watch how she goes kind of nice and wide on the top this way. But I'm using that same body language, and I'm moving my paddle the same way. And watch her just come around nice and wide on the top. Come in and kind of just pace those sheep just nice right there. Now you see the horses in the background there. I would caution you not to work in a field with horses in it if your dog, if you think your dog possibly might even pay attention to the horses at all. Now here's the reason. Set this little dog up same way, send it from my side, show you some of our good California brushy country here. I know there's some cattle because earlier I saw some run up this creek bed here. But I don't know where they are now or how far away they are. But this will just kind of demonstrate the importance of having that good, dependable outrun. Kind of see what some of the country that we gather in here looks like. Just that dependable gather. Because I know wherever she finds cattle, she's going to bring them back to me. I'll move over here out of the way a little bit so we can kind of see them when they do start coming back. I'm actually here probably 15 minutes waiting for some cattle to show up. But I know that they will show up eventually. And just the importance of having that good, dependable outrun. One thing to remember when you send your dog like this, don't leave your post. If I was to decide to ride off, she'll bring those cattle back to where I sent her from. And if I'm not here, then she won't know what to do with them when she gets back. So this may take a while. I'm going to sit here, like I say, probably 15 minutes waiting for cattle to show up. And there comes some cattle. She found 4 yearlings out there someplace. Sometimes our cowdog gather is not quite the same as a sheepdog outrun. They got to be able to think for themselves and just get the job done when we're not there. But because this dog was trained the same way to go get them and bring them to the master, she's dependable on this outrun as well. So I want to thank you for watching our video. Hope you got something out of it. If we can be of any help to you, give us a call, email us. I'm Merle Newton, and I'll see you down the road.